Boy, oh boy, do I have something fun for you guys today. I am so freaking stoked to be showing you my brand new race car. Or really, I should say, new to me. This is my 1978 Lynx B Formula Vee race car. For those of you who don't know what a Formula Vee is, it's essentially one of the cheapest ways to get into Formula car racing or open wheel racing. It's got the engine and transmission of a VW Bug in it, and it weighs only around 800 pounds. So with a driver, it's supposed to be around 1,000 pounds, which is crazy. This thing is so tiny, it's able to fit in a third garage here with ease. It comes with so many spare parts, the tires are super cheap and easy to get. Everything else is super cheap and easy to work on. And the community behind this thing is so freaking cool too. I was shocked to hear that this racing series has been around since the 60s, and it's always been one of the entry-level ways of getting into formula cars because it's easy to work on, especially for someone to work on by themselves. If they don't have a whole team with them, if they don't have a big budget, it's a perfect way to get into open wheel racing and getting a feel of what it's like essentially laying down almost completely flat but driving a car, which is so cool. And I've only been able to drive it around the block so far, and I cannot tell you how incredible it feels. I'm sure a lot of questions are coming up as to why I would get something like this, especially after the whole project with my Golf Focus ST, because I've been spending the past year getting that car track prepped and ready to go racing with. So basically what I was trying to do was go and get my competition license, which is still what I'm going to do, but now with this car instead. The reason why I decided to get this instead of keep working on the Focus was after doing the math, I realized that it was going to be cheaper to get a full-on ready-to-go race car that has everything already needed to qualify for any racing series than it would be to put all the money into the modifications for the Focus ST. And you know, I need a better transmission, I need a fuel cell, I need a fire suppression system. I mean, the list goes on and on and on for all the different things. And then on top of that, there's very few racing series that it would even be allowed into, because it's not like it would fit into any spec series, because there's no spec series for the Focus ST, unfortunately. It's a great track car and it's a ton of fun, but there's not a whole lot of racing support for a vehicle like that. So that's why I really thought it'd be a good idea to get this car instead. In full honesty, I paid $8,000 for this car, which for Formula V's, they tend to go from anywhere from $5,000 to $12,000. So I was right in the middle, which I think was a good deal. On top of that, I was able to get a trailer included with it, a spare engine, so many parts. I don't even know what to do with all of them. Tons of nuts and bolts, 2 full sets of tires, quick jack for when I'm at the track and stuff like that, and so many other little things that I don't even know how to use. So I'm really excited for everything I'm gonna learn with this car. Obviously it's carbureted because it's an older engine, and the original chassis and everything itself is from 1978. It's from the company, it's either Lynx or Lynx B, I honestly don't know. But obviously this thing has been around for a while and had lots of revisions, which is really cool. It's funny because I honestly wasn't even planning on getting this car. I literally was just scrolling through Facebook Marketplace and just happened to find it, and it was like, whoa, that looks cool. And just messaged the owner and just asked him questions about the car and what it is, because I had no idea. I'd never heard of Formula Vee before. So once I started doing more research, I started realizing how cool this is. And this might sound really cheesy, but I honestly feel like this is what I was meant to do. He was explaining to me how these vehicles, I mean, obviously they're very small, and without any major modifications, really only someone who's 5'10" or shorter can fit into it. I'm right at around 5'8", and it's amazing that I was able to just sit in this car and felt perfectly right at home. And that is really special, because since getting into cars and since getting into racing, I got into this, very late. I never knew about racing or anything until I was like 18 years old. And that's when I fell in love with it, because my friends introduced me to it. And since then, I've never felt such a strong passion for something before as I have with this and wanting to go racing. And it's just finding this car, I happened to just stumble upon it, and it just felt like what I was truly meant to do. And on top of that, it's going to open so many doors for me. I'm really excited because of the fact that with this car, I can race in the Vara Racing Series, which is for vintage cars, and they go full on racing, which is really, really cool. They have lots of track day programs with it as well. And the best thing is they are probably the easiest racing organization I've found for just going into racing right away. They make it super easy to get your rookie license and start racing right away, obviously with a provisional license, so you're not fully off the hook. Certain things you have to do, like starting at the back of the race, and certain things like if you go all wheels 4 off, you have to go to the black flag station. Little things like that just to make sure you're aware of the mistakes you're making and stuff like that, which isn't a big deal. But what I love about that is the fact that they're making it so easy to just go straight into racing. There are a lot of different racing schools where you can pay tens of thousands of dollars that'll get you your competition license at the end of, basically just like a 3-day weekend. But that's after dropping, $10,000, and you don't even have the car to go racing in. Whereas with this car, yes, I did spend $8,000 on it, but with the car now, I'm able to go straight into racing rather than have to pay additional money to go to one of those racing schools or anything like that. And then on top of that too, what I just found out really recently was the fact that not only am I able to just get straight into racing with them and learn through their internal programs, which is really cool, but on top of that, their license is directly transferable to SCCA, NASA, and any other racing series, which is so unbelievably cool because I did not realize that it would be that easy to do. But I think it's because of the fact that if you can drive one of these older race cars, you can essentially drive anything, just because of how challenging they are, but also how much they really teach you about the art of racing with their raw characteristics. I'm super grateful to the old owner. His name is Adam. He's been so much help, and on top of that, he is a big part of the VAR organization, and he has lots of friends in that group, and so he's been helping me get set up and get all the information I need to go straight into this. So in 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing my first track day with them to get used to this car. Technically, I could have just gone straight into a race. As much as I would have liked to do that, I know I need to get comfortable with this car and really feel it out. So what I will do is I'm going to get this car ready to go. There's a few things I need to do to get it ready for me, but then I'm going to do the track day next Sunday, go get comfortable in the car, try and do some more track days later on throughout the summer, and then come September, which is the next Vara event, that's when I should be able to, fingers crossed if they allow me, I think I should be fine, to actually do my first real race. Obviously, I've done things like 24 Hours of Lemons. That was my first taste of real racing, but at the end of the day, it was different because, they're piece of shit cars, and wasn't exactly the same because you're going for laps, you're not going for position. So this will be the first true racing that I'm doing where I'm racing for position in not only just race cars in general, but a formula car, which is so cool. So this next track day is going to be all about getting comfortable in this car and understanding how to brake with it. It's got drum brakes, it's got a 4-speed manual transmission. It's amazing that you can fit a tiny little shifter in here. It's the funniest thing trying to shift with it. So that's going to take some getting used to. Everything is super raw with it. So you don't have any electronics, no ABS, no traction control, nothing like that. So it is going to be a big learning curve to figure out how to drive this car. And I'm definitely going to have to take it slow at first. I'm not going to show everything on camera just because I think a lot of it is pretty basic stuff, but I did want to go over just the unique features of this car, just because for me at least, this is my first time having anything to do with a formula car, and I just think it's so fascinating and I want to share it with all of you. The first thing is the fact that these cars don't really have seats. They kind of just have like these makeshift seats. So the previous owner, what he had here was what he totally made custom. So all of this that folds